We didn't bring them in that hat?
I'd like to call the Policy and Procedure Committee to order for September 21st, 2022. Roll call.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Feller-Bourgeois.
Here.
Dr. Dennis Guillat.
Here.
Mr. Ray Benoit.
Here.
Mr. Richard Boutery.
Here.
Ms. Mary Petita.
Here.
Mr. Henry LaFont. And Ms. Cheryl Thomas. You have a form.
Move on to number 2, proposed policy revisions, new policies. A, GBDB, employment of retired personnel. Mr. Robin Lee.
In this particular policy, it is dealing with legislation for retired personnel. You know, in recent years, they've had several changes to this. In this particular piece of legislation, it addresses rehiring of retired teachers in areas of critical shortage. These provisions address employees who retired before June 30th, 2022. And this has been reviewed by our board attorney, and I'm asking for your approval.
Thank you. I need a motion. Ms. Petita, second by Dr. Guillat. Any public discussion? Board discussion? Mr. Lee tells me that now I can return to work, but I told him my job now.
I do have a question for Mr. Lee. What constitutes critical shortage? Is there a specific definition for that?
We look at it in the areas of where our needs are in our particular district. For example, if there's a critical need for special education teachers, we would say that is a critical need for our district.
Thank you.
Any other comments? And we can vote.
I know what you want.
It passes.
Oh, it's right there. You're right.
Yeah.
Look at the
GBRIB, sick leave. Mr. Lee again.
Right. This legislation is in addition to the use of personal illness, emergencies. The statute allows for the use of sick leave for special circumstances for teachers, bus operators, and school employees. Again, you'll see in the policy exactly how that will be handled here in our district. Again, it was reviewed by our board attorney, and I'm asking for your approval.
Need a motion. Mr. Bernard, and second. Dr. Guillat. Any board comment? Public comment? If not, we can vote. Welcome, Ms. Thomas. And C, GBRID, military leave.
Alrighty. This legislation, this is a new statute that provides that a teacher who is employment was interrupted by military service be placed with their employment, that their step increases will continue. If they are military service defined by this act is as a member of the U.S. Armed Forces during war declared by the United States Congress, or in peacetime campaigns or expeditions for which the campaign badges are authorized. So again, this has been approved by our board attorney, and I'm asking for your support in this really important legislation. Thank you.
I need a motion. Mr. Boutery, and a second by Ms. Petita. Any board discussion?
Mr. Lee, does this include service in the Louisiana National Guard?
There is some provisions in the document that talks a little bit about our National Guard as well. So in our policy,
Any other board comment? Public comment? Okay, I'm happy to see this because this is so
Very important.
very important. No other comment, we can vote. It's unanimous. Thank you, Ms. Williams. On to D, GBN, dismissal of employees. Ms. Lee.
Right. Again, this is legislation that we have to address. It is a small change in the policy. It is involving the dismissal of bus operators. It replaces written notice of charges with receipt of the superintendent's disciplinary action. So again, this small change has been made due to legislation, again reviewed by the board attorney. So I'm asking for your approval for this change.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. I need a motion. Mr. Teeter, and a second. Ms. Thomas. Any board discussion? Comments? Any public comment? Hearing none, we can vote. It is unanimous. On to E, IDDFA, Special Education Advisory Council. Mr. Cook.
Policy IDDFA, Special Education Advisory Council, is a policy that mandates each school system to create a Special Education Advisory Council. Act 567 of 2022 mandated a change in the makeup of the council, in addition to changing the percentages of certain members to be included. It mandated that a council shall be composed of at least 8 members. Council annual written reports are now to be posted on school board website or reported to the Department of Education. IDDFA, as submitted by forethought consultant and reviewed by a school board attorney and special education staff, is in order. I recommend it for approval or adoption.
Thank you. I need a motion by Dr. Diaz and a second by Mr. Buterin. Any board comment? Public comment? Hearing none, we can vote. It does pass unanimously. Thank you. And on to F, JBCE, Public School Choice. Again, Mr. Cook.
Policy JBCE, school choice, is a policy change based on the new statute that provides for a transfer to high schools based on program offered, in addition to the students being able to transfer based on school performance scores. It allows for students to engage in a program of choice in his or her school system without regard to attendance zones under certain conditions. The program of choice is defined as a public school program that allows a student to concurrently pursue a high school diploma and 1, post-secondary degree, credential, or certificate, or 2, state registered apprenticeship or pre-apprenticeship. Policy JBCE, school choice as submitted by forethought consultants, has been reviewed by board attorney and CWL staff and is in order. I recommend its approval for adoption.
Need a motion by Mr. Benoit and Mr. Douglas, and seconded by Mr. Buterin. Any board discussion? Mr. Teeter?
I just want to make a comment for people in the audience that these policy changes are either by new laws or by revised statutes that we're told that we have to do. So I just want people to understand that.
I was gonna say that.
Oh,
but
I'm
that's
sorry.
all. That's okay. Any other board comment? Public comment? And none, we can vote. On to policy JGCE, child abuse. Mr. Phillips.
Good evening. Policy JGCE, child abuse, reflects current law passed by Act 525 of 2014, known as Aaron's Law, that requires each governing authority of a public elementary or secondary school to provide age and grade appropriate classroom instruction to all students relative to child assault awareness and prevention, and to post the toll-free DCFS Child Protection Hotline number on its website. New legislation passed in the 2022 regular session by Act 180 that provides relative to instruction on child assault awareness and prevention in public schools adds only that students shall be instructed on the use and location of the toll-free DCFS Child Protection Hotline number, and clarifies that the number must be posted in a prominent location on our website. Forethought Consultants have revised policy JGCE to reflect these new provisions by Act 180 of 2022. Policy JGCE, child abuse, as submitted by Forethought Consultants, has been reviewed by our board attorney and child welfare and attendants and is in order. I recommend its approval for adoption.
I need a motion for Mr. Bidley, second by Ms. Thomas. Any board discussion?
Let me just ask generally, has there been any discussion as to what discipline this would be instructed in? English, math,
There's nothing specific.
Nothing
It doesn't direct us specifically to include it in any specific curriculum.
Any other discussion? Public comment?
Question. So did we figure out where we're gonna implement it and how yet?
Not yet.
A lot of times it's the school counselor will reach in and do lessons in the classroom, and sometimes it's covered in that.
And is it specific grades, or does it have to be done every year in every grade?
Every year.
Every year in every grade.
Any other comments? Hearing none, we can vote. Well, that's passed unanimously. Thank you. Then on to H, excuse me, LEH, patriotic organizations. Mr. Fields again.
Yes, policy LEH, patriotic organizations, is a new policy recommended by Forethought Consultants based on the new law Act 485 passed in the 2022 regular session and known as the Patriotic Access to Students in Schools Act, or PASS Act. Policy LEH defines patriotic organizations as a youth group that is listed as a patriotic society in Title 36 of the United States Code. The list includes organizations such as Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, among several others. The policy allows any patriotic organization to use any public school building or property for student participation in its activities at times other than instructional time during the school day. Policy LEH requires principals to grant representatives of such organizations the opportunity to speak with and recruit students to participate during school hours for the purpose of informing them how the organization may further the students' educational interests and civic involvement. Organizations shall provide verbal or written notice to the principal of intent to speak and proof of liability insurance. The principal shall provide verbal or written approval of a specific day and time for the organization to address the students. Policy LEH, patriotic organizations, as submitted by Forethought Consultants, has been reviewed by our board attorney and child welfare. I recommend its approval for adoption.
Need a motion? Mr. Teeter, second by Dr. Diop. Any board discussion?
Just a comment. It's a sad state of our society that it requires a law to allow for that.
Any other comments? Any public comment? Hearing none, we can vote. And it does pass unanimously. As Ms. Fertitta was saying, these policy changes come about because the legislator enacts legislation that forethought looks at and sends to us what we need to change in our own policies. And then our supervisors and directors look at the changes, put their comments in, and then we send it to the attorney for approval, and then it comes back to the committee, and then we bring it to the board. A lot of people looking at the policies.
In addition to Mr. Pasqua,
Yeah.
somewhere in the background.
Yes. It needs to be our.
You're right.
Any other comments? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.